got money sad. 25th is hard to get. Stuff not shitty out there. Just a sip and pop some tag. Girl gonna go, yeah, bet. Spin the shit. Spin the.
As someone who really loves music, I've been paying attention to to these conversations that have been happening surrounding India Ari's comments about Young Miami's song "Spin That," and I just feel like you guys are fighting really hard to misunderstand what India is saying. You guys are trying to make your own points to detract from the validity of what India Ari is saying. And like I said, it's really just been rubbing me the wrong way. So I really just wanted to come on here, share my thoughts, and really add some more support to what India is saying. I just felt like I had to say something. So here it goes. So first, for those of you who are unaware, there's an artist named Young Miami. Y'all might know her as Carisha. She recently put out the song called "Spin That," and the subject matter of the song is talking about things like scamming, boosting, spending money that you don't have. The music video, of course, features a lot of different things going on, and she's been receiving a lot of attention. People are calling this the song of the summer. People are really excited about this song, and so excited about it that recently at the 2026 BET Awards, people literally gave her a standing ovation. People saw her come out on stage and they gave her a standing ovation. They were singing the song, and naturally that just created a lot of buzz around it. And I do want to say these subjects aren't anything new to rap. Young Miami she's not the first and she will not be the last to rap about these things or make music about these things. But I think why the discussion is happening mostly around Young Miami is because, her affiliations and the way people are defending this song tooth and nail. Like, I think, there's a lot of people there, they keep saying like, well, male rappers, they've been doing this for a long time, and why can't y'all let Carisha have her moment? And the point of the matter is that you guys are like highlighting this song so much. It's becoming a little trend on TikTok, and like I said, Young Miami, she has these affiliations where you really just wonder, how is this happening? So when she hops into the mix, that just made everything, kind of blow up even more. When India chimed in, I think that naturally just drew more eyes to the situation, because if you know anything about India Ari, you know that she's a very enlightened artist. A lot of her music is very uplifting. You have songs like "Get It Together." Shout out if you listen to that from the Shark Tale album. But then she also has songs like "Strength, Courage, and Wisdom." She has, "Brown Skin." She's just been a uplifting voice to the culture. So it's literally like you have an artist like India saying something to an artist, or saying something around an artist like Young Miami. Now, mind you, if you actually look at what India said, she didn't attack Carisha. She didn't even attack fans of the song. She simply just emphasized the fact that music has influence and it has power, and I think, we should be more careful what we listen to. But of course, people didn't like that.
Either you know what it is or you don't. And if you don't, you can go find it. It's very easy. But I don't think we should boycott. What I want is to see people understand the power of words and music and to make choices that are healthy for them. That's what I want. Do I think it matters what I want for people?
So first, I did want to say that I completely agree with India. Music does have influence and power. I mean, when you go to the gym, when you go to the club, wherever you go, if you want that extra thing, that extra feeling to immerse you into whatever environment or mindset you're going to listen to music. You go to church, it's praise and worship. You go to the club, it's upbeat, it's hype. It's very energetic. You go to the gym, you want something hype and energetic. And if you're going through a hard time where you're sad or frustrated, you listen to something to help you cope. And for celebrations, you might make a specific playlist. Or even things like Halloween, Christmas, like you have music specifically for those times of year. So I don't like that people are trying to have these conversations and they're just saying like, oh, like it's just a song, it's just a song, it's just a fun song. Let's let Caresha just have her moment. And it's like, no, when people put out music, it's not just a song. She put out this music to hype people up in the club. She put out this music to talk about like doing encouraging people to do things that they shouldn't be doing. It's never just a song. And I'm just someone, I love music. I'm really conscious about what I listen to, and I just get so frustrated when people make it sound like music is just like something to play in the background, not something that you actually intake and internalize. You know, I just feel like there's a time for everything. You know, I will say not every song needs to be uplifting and introspective like India's music, but at the same time, do we really want to platform music that's encouraging, you know, bad behavior, like criminal activity? Now, second, I did want to say that, you know, Caresha should not be the only artist, you know, discussed when we talk about low vibrational music. She, like I said earlier, she is not the first and she won't be the last. However, like I mentioned, you know, before y'all are deeming, you know, her song to be the song of the summer and praising her for having her moment, let's not pretend like you guys wouldn't have dragged India more if she said something about male artists. You know, a lot of people were saying, well, she hasn't said anything about the male artists who have been doing this for years. You know, people never come out and say something about all the male rappers. Let's not pretend that you guys... I think it would have been worse if she had started to talk about male artists, because I feel like they get protected more. And, you know, speaking of someone that is being protected, I want to transition into my next point where we discuss, you know, Caresha or Young Miami's affiliations. I genuinely think a lot of you forgot that Young Miami is involved with Diddy. Like, to this day, she is involved with, like, Sean Combs. You know, this is the man who was in jail literally for trafficking. This is the man who was, you know, laying hands on Cassie. And this is the same man who negatively affected the lives of so many different people. This is the person that has negatively affected the lives of so many different people. And this is the man that Caresha is defending. You know, this is the man she's affiliated with. You know, I guess you guys forgot that she literally wrote a character letter to the judge for Diddy to prevent him from going to jail, to prevent him from facing the consequences of his actions. You know, I think we also forgot, you know, she made the comment on Twitter. This is what Caresha said. This is what Young Miami said. She said, if Diddy wanted you to pleasure me, he would have had you on your knees. So it really, so now not only do we have this, you know, singular song, but we know Caresha's character. We know the type of person she is, but there just seems to be this assertiveness in protecting her. There seems to be this very vocal minority of people who are doing everything they can to make it seem like it's just a song. This whole thing is just so much bigger than Young Miami. I think platforming this song is indicative of the things we're willing to protect and uphold. It was just really sad to see, you know, India, what she said made perfect sense, but there are so many people who are just quick to, of course, call her like old and bitter. You know, she's washed. She's mad that she doesn't have hits like Caresha. She's ugly. She's just jealous. She's simply jealous. And I really hate that anytime we try to have conversations like this is what people do. Instead of addressing, you know, the prompt, it's easy to just attack someone as a person. And I don't know, India, Ari, I'm not saying she's a perfect person. I'm sure she probably has some skeletons in her closet, but I will say, you know, I, as someone who has been listening to her music for a long time, you know, I even grew up with her. You know, I remember that episode of Sesame Street when I was little. She was on there, you know, teaching kids their ABCs and stuff.
ABCs, ABC.
And once again, I don't know India. I'm not saying she's a perfect person, but I feel more inclined to listen to her versus supporting someone like Young Miami, who has consistently been putting out an image of being a city girl and scamming and just getting to the bag and being affiliated with someone like Diddy. Can we be so for real? A lot of India's music has resonated with me, and you know, she may not have spoken out against every rapper, which is valid. I completely understand that point, and maybe she didn't say the exact perfect thing. For a long time, she has really committed to being someone to uplift the culture and to uplift black people and making people comfortable in their bodies, and that just can't be said about Young Miami. I'm not saying Young Miami needs to rebrand. As adults, I definitely feel like we should be able to listen to what we want to listen to. Being an adult means being able to filter things out and knowing how to move, and knowing how to like manage your energy and stuff like that. But my thing is this really the music we want to highlight and platform and get excited about? You know, I just, is this the artist that we want to fight tooth and nail to defend? I just feel like when we keep platforming these type of artists, we make it easier to create the next Young Miami, and even worse, we make it easier to create the next Diddy. Like that's scary to me. Like I said, we should be able to enjoy what we want, but I feel like we should really be more careful about the things we get excited about and the things that we highlight. I think, like India says, music really does have influence and power. And for me, I would just prefer the influence of India's music versus Young Miami's. And, you know, there's a time and place for everything. You know, you can have your uplifting, encouraging music, but if you want to have your, you know, low vibrational moment, sure, whatever. You know, there's a time and place. If you're at the gym, if you're at the club, you're at a festival, you want to have a good time somewhere, hey, like do what you want. But the way people were so aggressive with defending Young Miami, you would have thought that she had contributed so much to the culture, and she would have contributed so much to the success, you know, of the black community. And to me, she's done the opposite. She did the opposite when she associated herself with Diddy. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Let me know if I missed anything. This is something I really felt like I had to speak on because I love music, and I just hate when people discredit music for having power and influence, and it does. It affects our mindsets, and it affects the way we move in the world, and it affects, you know, our kids. It affects so many different things, and I don't know, I just feel like we could be doing better, and that doesn't mean that we should only support this type of artist, but I just think we should be more careful about what we support. But that's all I have on my mind. I'll see you guys another time.